Howdy ho and welcome to Rauta's Vinyl Monday. This time we have a very special case in so many ways for review and I don't know really where to start with, so let's start with the classic unboxing. As you can see, this is still in wraps. However, I of course cut it open so I could listen to the vinyl. And yes, I'm the kind of a weirdo who actually listens to vinyl when reviewing them instead of just going for streaming services and all that stuff. That would be easier, but there's a certain kind of a feeling, as you all vinyl maniacs I hope know what I'm talking about. That is when spinning a vinyl. This one is Jonathan Young, Children of Night. What a gloomy title. Gives me certain kind of a Dracula movie feeling to it. But this ain't no Dracula cover. In fact, this is a ocean of sorts. Some being on the background. Jonathan, is that you? I don't know, it's me. Okay. And then we have a boat. Jonathan may be lost in the sea. Or maybe it's the children of the night who are, hanging around in the sky. Now, how gloomy this looks like, it ain't no ambient, nor it is black metal. It's in fact hard rock and heavy metal. Quite interesting so. But the real surprise comes a little bit later. Now you're probably wondering who the hell is Jonathan Young? Why he does have this self-financed vinyl? Why should we care? I mean, you probably always, well, more often than not, I hope, know the bands I'm talking about when having a vinyl, because it's not like all the small underground bands send vinyl for review. So by this time at least, I was asking myself, what's the story of a self-financed vinyl? This ain't no first or second time for me that to happen really, but I mean, it's not too common. It's even like if the bigger bands don't tend to have vinyl out there for review. So it's like, why on earth there would be self-financed vinyl of a person you have no idea who this is? I did a little bit of asking around from my pals on Discord server, the one that I have a couple of I'm writing for, and I was like, you surely know who Jonathan Young is. And everybody was like, no, I have no idea. Except one person was, I think I've seen the name somewhere. Now, if you're one of those people who's like, I have no clue, don't blame yourself. Even though he's a big name in the United States of America in the wonderland known as YouTube, you might actually not know that he does his own music as well. Own music, that is, as opposed to what he's mostly known for, cover songs. So let's take a quick look of Jonathan Young on Metal Archive site. I mean, of course he is there because he's a musician, but he's more than that. He's producer, he's a cover artist, he's YouTuber, whatnot. And as a YouTuber, Rauta is this size where Jonathan Young is massive, colossus, too big to compare. That is, Jonathan Young, at the time I'm doing this film, has almost 3 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. And now you're of course asking like, so what is he doing? Well, he's doing a lot of music. He has more than 900 million views on his channel. Now compare this to Rauta's some 3 million and whatnot, and you have a slight idea of the difference. Rauta is something like 17,000 subscribers. He has almost 3 million. So that's the difference we're talking about. Most biggest metal bands would even dream about such numbers. Then again, if you take a look at Jonathan Young's Facebook following, it's only 50,000. 50,000 is quite amount, but I mean even typical, not exactly big black metal bands can reach those heights, not to mention bigger bands. So there's a little bit of, things are imbalanced between following different platforms. I'm just mentioning these numbers because it's kind of a funny, like he's a big YouTuber, but then again, he's not really big in terms of metal artist. Not small either, but still. Now, the quick look to his discography, then again, is quite interesting. Here it says from 2014 and 2015 he did Young Does Disney. Now mind you, these are cover albums, then singles, collaborations, EP, whatever, full albums, Pocket John, come on, Young Does Disney Part 3, and etc, villains and what have you. Then a lot of singles and compilations and collaborations and whatnot, which means he had already gotten the momentum so many years ago, which is of course because he is already a big YouTuber. But in terms of his own music, this is a relatively new thing, and I think it was said somewhere here like 2021 when he started and came up this album Starship Velociraptor, quite a goofy name, kind of a sci-fi Jurassic Park thing going on, which I guess explains his sense of humor. I like this kind of sense of humor, well, not necessarily so when I'm listening to music. I mean, I do a lot of goofy stuff. I like movies, I like video games, I like TV shows and books and what have you. I like fiction and real stories. But when it comes to creating metal music or music in general, I don't really favor when it comes to goofier side. Now I'm not saying he does exactly that, but just giving a little bit of a weird disclaimer here. Now this album is called Children of Night, came out in 2023, October. Here it says labeled Judge and Jury. It's probably mentioned somewhere here along the lines, small decks and all that stuff. That doesn't really matter. We're not here to talk about labels as such, but it's interesting that as big artist he is, this ain't no, say, Century Meteor, Metal Blade, Nuclear Blast, whatever big mainstream label releases. I mean, it could be, but it's not. One can only wonder why. Maybe it's about, having the own control over the music and releasing and all that stuff. I mean, if you take a look at the Judge and Jury, it's just Jonathan Young, which makes you think, okay, it's his own label, makes sense, he get to control the sales, distribution, keep all the money and all that stuff. But guys, kids, whoever you are, don't do music for money. Even less so, metal is not the right place to do it. So in case you want to get big and famous, do what Jonathan Young do. If you can sing, if you can produce, if you can songwrite, if you can do a lot of stuff. So you have to really be professional, and I think Jonathan Young is that with a capital P. Now when it comes to his own music, this 43 minutes and 10 some sophomore album, yeah, things get more complicated. I mean, it's obvious he's a very, very skilled vocalist. He does handle a set of various clean heavy metal vocals in a very, very quick way, in ways that a lot of us can only dream of. I think I can sing some, but I wouldn't compare myself to really, really professionals like him. Also, he has very, very nice voice. I mean, he has this more down-tuned voice. He has a kind of a deep voice when he wants to be, or it can be quite high and clear and all that stuff. And of course, as an American, he has nice ways to pronounce the vocals. You don't feel like weird accents going back and forth, but it's not overly like Texan kind of a style. I'm talking about wide various dude, I mean, he ain't no country artist singing with some cowboy hat on and all that stuff. Anyway, what we have on this album is like 43 minutes, 12 songs of heavy metal and hard rock. It's very, very mainstream driven, or should I say mainstream targeted, meaning that all these songs could be the next mainstream hits. They are really, really nicely executed. Songwriting is quite good. The vocals are top notch. You have guest vocals, some clean, nice female vocals, etc. There's enough variety. There's enough diversity in terms of like some are softer, some are almost like crossing the boundaries of extreme metal, but only barely. The rest of the stuff is more like back and forth between, heavy metal and hard rock, drifting around safely. Now, that's one of the problems, in my opinion, with this album. I mean, don't get me wrong. I grew up with hard rock and heavy metal. I love bands such as, say, Wasp and Manowar and, Iron Maiden to a certain degree. So that is, I have this classic heavy metal background. And also, I grew up with bands like Bon Jovi, Skid Row, Mötley Crüe, whatnot. So I'm saying, yes, I do love music, even metal music and hard rock music, than beyond just, the underground names, black metal, net metal, namely thrash metal, what have you. So heavy metal and hard rock are also my background, also the stuff that I grew up with. So what is wrong with this album is that it lacks the absolute hit songs, the kind of a killer songs which are so desperately needed in the world of hard rock. I mean, pick some of the biggest tracks by, Mötley Crüe, or Skid Row, or Wasp, or goddamn Metallica, Iron Maiden, what have you, dropping the names like flies. And then you know what I mean, everybody knows those big hits. And Jonathan Young's second album don't have them. That is not to say this album is without its merits. I mean, it's very, very easy to listen to. It's kind of like the good mood, I was going to say you roll down the window, but we're talking about modern cars. You push the button when the window's open, you start driving towards a nice sunset and whatever. Maybe there's a girl or pal by you, you have a six-pack of beer or whatever. Good mood. That's very, very much present here. And that's something that I like. And of course, the production values are like reference points. It's obvious that the professionalism is here very, very much. And I like it. This is not an underground black metal album, so forget all your necro sound or super brutal technical death metal outputs. This ain't no for that. I'm saying this is exactly what you kind of would expect and hope a hard rock or heavy metal album of modern times to sound like. At least I feel like about it. And the vocals, like I said, they're really, really good. So the only problem is that what this album is missing are those hit songs. Even a couple maybe. Something like heavy metal anthems, hard rock instant classics. And I wish this would have it, because this would be really, really nice album to listen to. And you would know, like, okay, when track number 3 comes here, you start banging your hand and all that stuff. But now you're like, okay, maybe the next track will do it. Or maybe the next one. And by the time you're done with your mantra, it's all over. So I'm saying, yes, this has a lot of potential to become the next big thing. And I kind of hope that Jonathan Young could do that, because he has all the tools, all the ingredients. Now it's about honing, finding the magic pattern, the Midas touch, to make the next, be it Enter Sandman or whatever, or, I Want to Be Somebody, Wild Child. A lot of those great songs by old bands. But yeah, there's a lot of potential, and I think artists and talents like Jonathan Young really, really deserve more attention. This for me a way to find his YouTube channel, because for some reason I have always, just unintentionally ignore it. Not by intention indeed, but I rarely browse YouTube, so I just pick videos when they're relevant to my cause or ideas or interest and all that stuff, and cover songs are not that. But now that he's making his own music, my eyebrows are like, okay, what's going on? So anyway, I hope you will give it a chance. Of course, there are links provided in the description box, so give it a chance, figure out if you like his voice, his style and all that stuff. And of course, if you like it, physical product is the way to go with. Don't just settle with YouTube and other streaming services. Go for the real product. Let the smell, your eyes and everything be like, yay, experience the whole thing. That's my review of this album. Pretty nice, but not exactly gold standard yet. But now you know, at least a little bit more. At least I know a little bit more about it. His music, his art, and all. So, check it out. Check out the links, and I hope you like it.